Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, men of faith, today is not an ordinary day, because today we are talking about destiny. Not dreams, not wishes, not fantasies, destiny. The kind of destiny that heaven wrote with your name on it before your first breath ever touched the earth. You were created with purpose. You were crafted with intention. You were molded with greatness already in your DNA. But somewhere along the journey life tried to convince you otherwise. Disappointments whispered that you were not enough. Failures tried to bury your confidence. Circumstances clouded your vision. But I came today to tell you, you are not who the world said you are. You are who God says you are, and God says you are chosen, called, anointed, and destined for more. There is potential inside you that you have not even begun to tap into. There are gifts within you that have been sleeping, waiting for you to stop shrinking, stop doubting, stop apologizing for the greatness you carry. This is the hour to rise. This is the moment to step forward. This is the season to declare, I will walk in my divine destiny. Because destiny is not passive, it is pursued. It is not handed to you, it is activated by faith. Faith that moves you, faith that stretches you. Faith that refuses to let the enemy have the last word. And yes, there will be obstacles, there will be valleys, there will be moments when God seems silent. But hear me, God does his best work in the dark. Seeds grow in the dark. Purpose develops in the dark. And when it's time to rise, nothing can stop what God has ordained. Today, as we stand together, men of faith, we are not just raising funds, we are raising futures. We are raising leaders. We are raising warriors who will carry the light of God into a world that desperately needs hope. Your support is not just a donation, it is a declaration that you believe in purpose. You believe in destiny. You believe in lifting others as God lifts you. So I challenge you, unlock your potential. Answer your calling, walk boldly in your destiny, and help another brother rise into his. Because when men of faith rise, families change, communities shift, nations transform, and generations are never the same. This is your moment. This is your calling. This is your divine destiny. You were not created to blend in. You were designed by God to break barriers, rise higher, and walk boldly in the assignment he placed on your life. Let that truth sink deep into your spirit. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to fade into the background, to shrink yourself to make others comfortable, or to live a life that mirrors the expectations of people who never saw the vision God placed inside you. There is something uniquely divine about your existence. Heaven did not mass produce you. You were crafted with intention, with precision, and with a destiny that carries the fingerprints of God himself. Sometimes life tries to convince you that you're just another face in the crowd, that your voice doesn't matter, that your dreams are too big, or that your past disqualifies you from greatness. But the very fact that you feel the pull towards something greater, that inner stirring, that holy unrest, is proof that there is more inside you. You were designed to be a barrier breaker. You are supposed to go places where others stopped. You are meant to rise from situations that should have destroyed you. You carry within you a resilience that didn't come from your environment, your upbringing, or your education. It came straight from God's design. You were built to withstand what others crumble under. You were built to push through seasons of pressure, because pressure is not your enemy, it is your shaping ground. Diamonds do not form without pressure, Oil does not flow without crushing. Greatness is not born in comfort. And your destiny will not unfold while you sit quietly, hoping life notices you. You must rise. You must move. You must break out of the boundaries that fear drew around your future. You were created to walk boldly, not timidly, not fearfully in the assignment God placed on your life. That assignment may be bigger than your experience, bigger than your resources, bigger than your confidence, but it is not bigger than your God. When He calls you, He equips you. When He sends you, He strengthens you. When He places a mission on your life, He already prepared the way for you long before you ever arrived. Walking boldly doesn't mean you will always feel ready. It doesn't mean the road will always look clear. Sometimes boldness means stepping forward while your knees are shaking, trusting that God will steady you once your foot hits the ground. Sometimes it means declaring who you are before you fully grow into it. Destiny requires courage. It requires a willingness to stop hiding, stop apologizing, and stop waiting for approval to be who God already declared you to be. And the world needs the version of you that God designed, not the watered-down version, not the fearful version, not the version shaped by rejection, trauma, or disappointment. The world needs the bold, awakened, fully alive you, the you that rises, the you that breaks cycles, the you that refuses to settle, the you that sees obstacles and still moves forward, the you that understands you carry something eternal. You were not created to blend in. You were called to stand out, to shine, to stretch, to soar, and to become everything God imagined when He breathed life into you. It's time to rise into that truth. It's time to walk in that power. It's time to embrace your divine assignment with boldness and authority, because you were designed for more, and heaven is waiting for you to step into it. Destiny is not something you wait for. It is something you step into with courage, clarity, and a spirit that refuses to be defeated. Too many people live life as if destiny is a delivery service, as if greatness will simply arrive on their doorstep one morning wrapped in convenience and comfort. But destiny does not come to those who sit still. It comes to those who move. It comes to those who decide that where they are is not where they will remain. It comes to those who rise each day with a determination to walk toward the purpose God placed deep within them, even when the path is unclear, even when the challenges seem overwhelming, even when fear whispers that they are not enough. Destiny requires a decision to pursue, to push, to press beyond unbelief. You cannot discover divine destiny while clinging to comfort zones. Comfort may feel safe, but it suffocates growth. Destiny, on the other hand, stretches you, pulls you, and sometimes even shakes you, because it is trying to awaken the parts of you that have been dormant for too long. Destiny is not polite. It will disrupt your plans, challenge your excuses, and confront the limitations you placed on yourself. It calls you higher. It calls you deeper. It calls you into rooms you never thought you'd enter and into battles you never knew you were strong enough to win. And stepping into destiny requires courage, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward in spite of it. Courage is the fuel that pushes you through closed doors, dry seasons, and unexpected storms. It is the inner voice that says, "Keep going," when everything around you tells you to quit. Courage reminds you that the God who called you is also the God who carries you. It reminds you that setbacks are not endpoints. They are simply the places where God strengthens your resolve. But courage alone is not enough. You need clarity. Not always clarity of the entire journey, but clarity of who you are. When you understand who you are in God, when you recognize the value inside you, when you see your life through the lens of divine intention instead of human limitation, everything changes. You stop settling for less. You stop tolerating environments that shrink your spirit. You stop allowing people to define your worth. Clarity sharpens your focus. It helps you recognize which opportunities are for you and which ones are distractions. It empowers you to say no to the wrong things so you can say yes to the right ones. And above all, stepping into destiny requires a spirit that refuses to be defeated, because destiny will test you. It will stretch your patience, shake your confidence, and challenge your identity. There will be moments when you feel like you're walking in circles, moments when prayers seem unanswered, moments when progress feels invisible. But a destiny-driven spirit understands something powerful. Delay is not denial. Every struggle is preparation. Every waiting season is development. Every disappointment is redirection towards something better. The divine path for your life will not unfold in one moment. It unfolds as you walk. Each step you take in faith activates something in the unseen. Each decision to rise, to try again, to trust God, to embrace growth moves you closer to what heaven has written for you. Destiny is not a dream. It is not an accident. It is your calling, and you must step into it with boldness, clarity, and a spirit that refuses to be defeated. Your potential is unlocked when faith becomes your fuel, not your fallback plan. Too many people treat faith like a last resort, something to lean on only when life collapses, when options run out, when strength is gone. But true potential is revealed when faith is not the thing you run to after everything fails. It is the force you stand on before anything even begins. Faith is meant to be your starting point, your foundation, your driving power, not your emergency exit. When faith becomes your fuel, you stop living life based on what you see and start living it based on what God said. Faith-fueled potential means you trust the promise, even when the process looks nothing like it. It means you move forward even when the path is not fully lit. It means you stretch, reach, build, dream, and pursue with confidence, not in your own ability, but in the God who placed the ability inside you. Faith shifts the atmosphere of your life. It transforms fear into focus, hesitation into movement, doubt into expectation. When faith fuels you, you don't wait for perfect conditions. You step out knowing the one who called you is already ahead of you, preparing the way. There are gifts within you, dreams within you, ideas within you that are waiting for your faith to activate them. Potential is not unlocked in moments of comfort, convenience, or certainty. It is unlocked when you choose to believe beyond what your circumstances suggest. Faith is the key that opens the door to everything God placed in you. It pushes you past your limitations, breaks you out of mental prisons, and releases you from the chains of insecurity and doubt. Faith says, I can become everything God created me to be. Even when your past tells you otherwise, even when your environment doesn't match your vision, even when people underestimate you. And understand this, faith is not passive. It is not simply a feeling or an emotion. Faith is movement. Faith is obedience. Faith is taking the step before you see the staircase. Potential is unlocked when you stop waiting for certainty and start walking in trust. Every time you act on faith, something inside you grows stronger, your confidence expands, your perspective sharpens, your purpose becomes clearer. Faith builds your spirit the way resistance builds muscle. Without challenge, strength never develops. Without faith, potential never emerges. Many people live beneath their potential because they allow fear to make decisions faith was meant to make. They allow past failures to define future actions. They allow doubt to silence the voice of destiny. But when faith becomes your fuel, fear loses its grip. Your mindset shifts from what if it doesn't work to what if God is positioning me for something bigger than I can imagine. You stop seeing obstacles as stop signs and start seeing them as opportunities for God to demonstrate His power. And here's the truth. Everything God placed inside you is already complete in Him. Your potential is not something you need to earn, it is something you need to awaken. Faith awakens it, faith stirs the gift, faith unlocks the greatness that has been waiting to break out. Faith aligns you with heaven's design and empowers you to walk in your true identity. When faith becomes your fuel, you no longer move through life surviving. You move through life becoming stronger, becoming wiser, becoming bolder, becoming the person God always intended you to be. Your potential is not unlocked by chance, it is unlocked by faith, and once that faith ignites inside you, nothing in this world can stop what God has set in motion. Every struggle, every setback, and every season of silence is shaping you for a future greater than anything you imagined. We often look at the hard places in life as interruptions, as moments that delay our progress, detour our plans, or diminish our confidence. But what if those very places are the shaping ground of your destiny? What if the pain you're trying so hard to avoid is the very pressure molding you into the person you need to become? What if the silence that frustrates you is the classroom where God is teaching you things you can't learn, while the noise of life is loud? Struggles are not signs of abandonment. They are signals of development. You don't grow in ease. You grow in tension. You don't rise through comfort. You rise through resistance. Every struggle you've faced has carried a lesson, a sharpening, a strengthening that you may not have recognized in the moment. You weren't crushed by it. You were carved by it. You weren't broken down. You were built up. That heartbreak didn't destroy you, it expanded your capacity to love with wisdom. That disappointment didn't defeat you, it redirected you towards something better. That betrayal didn't ruin you, it taught you who deserves access to your life. Setbacks often feel like failure, but in the realm of destiny, setbacks are simply setups. A step back is often God positioning you for a leap forward. When something is being pulled back, it's not retreating, it's gaining power. Like a bow pulled tight before the arrow is released, your setbacks are developing a tension that will launch you further than you thought possible. You don't see the breakthrough during the setback, but heaven is aligning things behind the scenes. What looks like delay is often divine timing. What feels like rejection is often protection. What you call a setback, God calls a shift. And then there are the seasons of silence, the ones that confuse you the most. These are the times when you pray and hear nothing, when you seek direction and receive none, when you look for signs and all you find is stillness. Silence can feel like God has stepped away, but in truth, silence is often where His greatest work is happening. Seeds grow in silence, Foundations are laid in silence. Healing takes place in silence. The silence isn't God ignoring you, it's God rooting you. The quiet places are where He strengthens your character, purifies your intentions, and stretches your faith. Silence is not a punishment, it's preparation. God speaks loudly when He wants to get your attention, but He speaks silently when He wants to grow your maturity. In silence, He teaches you to trust without evidence, to believe without affirmation, to keep moving even when you don't feel movement around you. You may not see progress, but you are being prepared. Every struggle is shaping you. Every setback is positioning you. Every silent season is maturing you. All of it, the pain, the pressure, the waiting, is part of a greater plan. You are being crafted for something beyond your understanding. You are being built for a future bigger than anything you ever pictured. And when that future unfolds, you'll look back and realize that nothing was wasted. Not the tears, not the hurt, not the closed doors. Everything served a purpose. Everything made you stronger. Everything was preparing you for the greatness that is on its way. The moment you stop shrinking to fit the world's expectations is the moment heaven releases the next level of your purpose. For too long, too many people have lived their lives trying to fit into spaces they were never meant to be confined in, trying to please people who were never meant to define them, trying to dim their light so others wouldn't feel intimidated, trying to silence their voice so someone else could feel comfortable. But you cannot fulfill a divine calling while living a minimized version of yourself. You cannot walk in destiny while folding yourself into the small boxes others create for you. You were never designed to shrink. You were designed to rise. And so many of us learned early in life to make ourselves smaller, smaller dreams, smaller expectations, smaller confidence, because someone told us we were too much, or too loud, or too ambitious. But what they called too much was actually your God-given identity trying to break through. Heaven never intended for you to dilute your purpose, so the world could digest you. You were created to disrupt, to uplift, to inspire, to lead, to stand out, and to carry a presence that reflects the greatness within you. Every time you shrink, something inside you aches. Every time you suppress your gift, your spirit feels unsettled. Every time you say less when you were meant to speak more, a part of your potential remains locked away. Shrinking may feel safe, but safety is not your assignment. You were not sent to the earth to hide. You were sent here to reveal God's creativity, His excellence, His power, His purpose through your life. The moment you stop shrinking is the moment something supernatural happens. Heaven takes notice. Purpose begins to stir. Doors begin to open. The weight you've been carrying begins to lift. Why? Because heaven cannot release what you are not prepared to receive. As long as you are hiding, heaven must wait. But the moment you stand in your true identity, unapologetically, boldly, heaven begins to move on your behalf. When you stop shrinking, you start seeing yourself clearly. You start valuing what God placed inside you. You start making decisions based on destiny, not insecurity. You stop apologizing for your anointing. You stop watering down your ideas. You stop asking permission to be who God already said you are. You walk differently, speak differently, think differently because you finally understand. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out. And the truth is, the world needs the full version of you, the healed you, the awakened you, the confident you, the you that carries wisdom, fire, passion, purpose, the you that does not settle, the you that chooses growth over comfort, the you that refuses to disappear to make others feel bigger. Greatness is not a threat, it's a calling. And when you embrace your full stature, you give others permission to rise as well. The moment you stop shrinking is the moment you stop living by the expectations of people and start living by the expectations of heaven. The moment you stop shrinking is the moment your real life begins, the life where your gifts flow freely, your purpose unfolds naturally, and your spirit aligns with what God always intended for you. It is in that moment that the next level is unlocked, because heaven only releases more to those who are willing to live as more. You were not created to be small. You were created to be everything God designed you to be. Stop shrinking, rise. Step forward, stand tall. Your next level is waiting for the real you to show up. You are not here by accident. God has planted a divine calling inside you, and it's time to rise, stretch, and step into the fullness of who you were created to be. Before you ever took your first breath, before you ever faced your first challenge, before you ever made your first mistake, heaven had already written your purpose. You are not wandering through life randomly. You are not a product of coincidence or circumstance. You were intentionally, purposefully, divinely designed with gifts, with potential, with a calling that is uniquely yours. There is something inside you that refuses to settle, something inside you that feels the pull toward more growth, more impact, more purpose, more alignment with who you truly are. That inner pull is not imagination. It is destiny calling your name. It is God whispering, I placed something powerful in you, and it is time for it to come alive. You were not designed to stay stuck in old cycles, old habits, old environments, or old insecurities. The calling within you is too great, too significant, too divine to remain buried under fear or doubt. But rising into your calling requires courage, not the loud kind, but the honest kind. The courage to face the parts of yourself you've ignored. The courage to move even when you feel unprepared. The courage to trust that if God put something inside you, He will also bring it out of you. Every gift, every idea, every dream you carry is intentional. Nothing in you is random, not your passions, not your talents, not your experiences. Even your struggles have purpose woven through them. God uses all of it, the broken pieces, the victories, the losses, the lessons, to shape you into the person capable of walking out your calling. And stretching is part of that process. Stretching hurts because it pulls you out of the familiar. It challenges the limits you've placed on yourself. It forces you to leave behind identities that no longer fit the person you're becoming. But growth cannot happen without stretching. You cannot step into a new level while clinging to an old version of yourself. Stretching is God's way of expanding your capacity to love, to lead, to endure, to believe, to become. It is in the stretch that you discover how strong you truly are. Then comes the step into fullness. Not halfway, not timidly, not conditionally. Fullness requires commitment. Fullness requires faith. Fullness requires alignment between who God says you are and how you live your life. Stepping into the fullness of your calling means refusing to live small. It means refusing to procrastinate the purpose in your heart. It means refusing to let fear dictate your future. It means taking bold steps, even when the path ahead is only partially lit. trusting that God illuminates the road as you walk it. You are not here by accident. You are not breathing today by coincidence. You are living in this moment because there is something God wants to do through you, something only you can carry, something only you can birth, something only you can accomplish. Destiny is waiting on your yes. Purpose is waiting on your courage. Heaven is waiting on your movement. Rise, stretch, step, become. Step boldly into the fullness of your calling, because the world needs what God planted inside you, and this is your moment to walk in it.